Hello, it's Nikki and welcome to a brand new episode. It's a short and sweet one today, but I've got a rather probing question for you. And as I'm not there in person in the room with you, I ask you to answer it with care, with consideration, and with kindness for yourself. Because I know what my intention is as I'm sharing this. I want to help you to #live your best life. I know that sounds trite when you say it, but I really want to be on your team, to see you win, to see you going for the things that you want and actually getting them. But equally, I don't know you. I might know you. I might know you actually. You might be a client listening to this, and if you are, hello. But if we don't have a personal relationship, I don't know your circumstances, and you know you, and you know what's going on, and you know whether or not your plate is full, or if it's not, or if there's space to have a look, to explore, to see what's going on. I was chatting with a client the other day, and she has had enormous amounts of growth recently. And often when that happens, there becomes a kind of, when you see people on log flumes or you see people on a helter-skelter, they have that excitement, they're whirling around, and then they suddenly slide to the bottom, to the finish line. And sometimes they just have to sit there. They have to sit there for a moment and just grip the mat, take a deep breath, look around, and go, whew, what was that? Right, okay. And it feels like their feathers have been ruffled a little bit, because all that growth, all that excitement, it leaves you feeling that you've done a lot of work. And one of the things that I was comparing her journey to and really supporting her with this is something I heard, I think it was on the Fern Cotton podcast by Sam Smith. And he was saying the other day that he had been watching trees recently, a lot in lockdown. And he was saying just how magnificent they were and how sturdy and how they'd seen some things and how they'd weathered some storms and how they live through the seasons. And there's times where they really come into full bloom and other times where it's just enough to stand there in the wind. I found that analogy so useful because not only is it a really great visual for me, like I know what a tree looks like. All of our streets around where we live are all tree lined. It's really beautiful, especially at this time of the year. But one of the things that I was saying to my client was, at this stage, sometimes all you need to do is stand there and be fabulous. Like some trees are I'm sure you're laughing along like, oh my goodness, has Nikki Raby lost the plot? There are some trees that just own it. You know, there's a beautiful bush. Sorry. There's a beautiful bush very near where I live, and it is glorious. It is full. It is robust, and it's just owning its magic, basically. And that's something that I've noticed in terms of business. Like there's sometimes moments where you do the fancy stuff, where you bring it all out, you're in launch mode, or you're doing X, Y, and Z. And then there's sometimes where you're like, I just need to ground myself. I need to check in. I need to see what's going on. So bushes and trees aside, here's my question for you today. And that is, what are you gaining from staying the same? And again, I ask this with kindness. I ask this not to make what has previously happened wrong, or to not be sympathetic or understanding or empathetic. But I want you to simply check in. Because this was really powerful for me when I was getting myself stuck in a spiral. I don't know if you've experienced this, and if you haven't, this may be one just to skip through, because it will be very divisive, I guess. There will be some people who are like, oh my goodness, I do that all the time. Exactly what you described, Nikki. I'm the same as you. I do all of those things. But there have been times when I've been really attached to my own bullshit, my own stories, my own limiting beliefs, my own victim, my own self-pity, and I've really allowed myself to wallow in those pools. And do you know what happens when you do that? Is people start to notice the pools that you're in. So the way that you treat yourself, the way that you show up, people start to think that that's who you are. It's almost like that person in your family who always gets drunk. They're a nightmare when they have a drink. And sometimes that person at a family do doesn't even need to be that drunk, but already the jokes are coming. Already here she comes. Oh, let's see what happens. It's already starting. And that can happen in your business. If you're saying all the time that things aren't happening, or they're not working, or you're not getting any clients, or you're worried about money, people are going to pick up on that. And you're not going to get where you want to get to with the ease and the flow. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a concerning time. I'm not saying like never listen to the news or don't pay attention to the outside world. Of course. But do check in with how you're responding. Do check in with your own goals. Do check in with how things are going for you. Because there might be times where you're like, oh, this isn't happening. I didn't do this. And then suddenly when you look at your progress, suddenly when you look at your to-dos that you've taken action on, you might go, oh, I actually didn't do that thing that I needed to do. I actually didn't make the progress that I needed to because I was being too concerned, or I was fearful, or things like that. And this leads me on to this conversation I was having with my friend the other day when I was saying my concerns about success. That for so many of us, it's much easier to play small, to be safe, to just, do our own little things over here. When actually, I know there's something bigger calling. I know you want to get to the end of lockdown, for example, before the end of the year, into next year, feeling like you are making progress, feeling like you are resilient, feeling like you are still doing the thing and things are going well. I know that for you. So I invite you today to gently ask yourself those questions. Are you gaining anything from staying the same? Are you gaining anything from small talk, or from fear, or for overworking, or not taking care of yourself, or any of the above? I want you to look at those things. And if you're not gaining anything, or the payoff of actually moving forward would be far greater, do more of that. There's your invitation for today. I will leave that with you. If any of that has resonated, do let me know. I would love to book in a complimentary strategy call with you before the end of the year, so you can start next year strong. You can start next year feeling like you know what you're doing, and you can actually gain the results that you want. It's really important that we make moves, that we keep following our heart, that we show up, that we're present, and we are in the game. Thank you so much for listening, as always, and do share this with a friend who might find this useful as well. I'm sending so much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.